One of the things that people often talk about is that the Brown decision also demanded additional resources from the government, which is to say the government was told that it could no longer divide its resources the way it was. Speak to some of the
well,
importance of that.
The whole concept of separate but equal, things were never equal. So if things weren't equal to begin with, to raise me to a level, you've got to put more into my communities. You've got to put more into me. Post-Brown, though, what we were saying was poorly educated African Americans cost the American system. Poorly educated persons are more likely to end up on welfare, are more likely to end up without employment. So we were arguing that with equal access to education and equal access to opportunity, because that's what Brown was really looking at, equal access to opportunity. And in America, I think I'm repeating myself, but in America, a first-class education was the first opportunity. 1649 in New England, first public school act. People believing that to be a well-trained and informed citizen, you had to be educated. So this had been denied. What we really wanted was equality with education. And that equality of education led to an equality in American life, an equality with the American dream. Post-Brown, we continually battled back and forth regarding voting rights and accessibility, or support for inner-city communities, or support for higher education. But Dr. Haney, it all stems back to Brown. That decision saying that it's un-American to have things separate but equal, I think challenged the status quo in America.
Dr. Mitchell, during the last 3 minutes that we have, let me have you to speak specifically to young people today who might not be focused or involved and even understand. What would you tell them in terms of their responsibility, or do they have a responsibility to continue the expansion of what Brown represented?
Yes, they do. It's a shame in America to have forced laws to support people who don't go to school. Truancy is not a luxury that especially the minority community can afford. The next great message from Brown, and the great American message, is we all must vote. America must become a nation where people are fully participating. It's not enough to have 33% of the population vote in national elections. It's not enough to have only 24% of the African American population vote. The promise of Brown, the struggles, and as we move in this century to an international arena and international discussions of economics and others, Americans, all Americans, must vote. They must be well educated. They must be able to support themselves. And literacy, you know, we don't have the luxury of illiteracy anymore in the world. So that's the great lesson of Brown. African Americans took a very little and made quite a bit out of it. Now the legacy is to take that participation and reach the fullest potential. You know, go to high school, go to college, graduate, look at a profession, become involved in community. That's what we should be about.
And you would encourage them, as some of the final statements dealing with Brown and civil rights, to participate in the upcoming presidential election, congressional elections, and state elections, and etc.
And in America, in this point in time, a high school education is not enough. A high school education equivals out to about our grandparents. Every person in the sound of my voice needs to consider a college education, the dream of America. There are funds out there, there are possibilities out there. And they must also keep themselves informed by continuing to support and view programs like Comments, because the salient discussions that come about from this stage are ones that can be carried over into the family room, the classroom, the church room. And that's what made Brown work, when people talked about what had happened, when they entered into it, when they were fully participating Americans and fully participating citizens.
And Dr. Mitchell, let me thank you over the last 30 seconds we have for that excellent information. I think that this is, as we indicated earlier, this is the fourth of a 5-series part of shows that we're dealing with Brown versus the Board of Education. Of course, this is Brown, Segregation, and Civil Rights. And we've got one final show to deal with, and that is Brown and Historical Black Colleges.
Well, thank you for the invitation.
We certainly appreciate you.
Thank you for the
of course, let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you, and good morning.